Welcome back, guys, to the podcast. Today we're going to jump into a weird portal. I think I was talking about this because so much of our lives we try to be like normal and blend in and like not really stand out from the crowd. Do you ever remember as like a kid where like it would horrify you if like you stood out or if someone called you your name first, or everybody was looking at you, or you were considered like the new kid or the weirdo? Or and I moved a lot growing up, so I've definitely been a new kid for a long time, for I guess a lot of times. And this helped me, like, I think, travel easier. But anyways, it's this energy of like you don't want to be looked at as different or weird. And we see this when we're like growing up and wearing like the same clothes and the same brands, and even now, like, we do that with like trends, and we kind of just like blend into each other. And why do we have this such innate feeling of like not wanting to be different or weird, and we think that is like a threat to ourselves, literally viscerally, and then like to other people like also view that as a threat subconsciously, of just like, why are they different, why are they doing something weird, or why are they doing something, yeah, that they're not supposed to be doing. And I think that this almost feels reminds me of the scene in Inception where they're bringing in a new architect, and the lady comes in. I don't know the actress's name, but she starts like building the world, and she's changing all these things really fast, and Leonardo is like, careful, don't do that too fast, or they're going to start to notice and like attack you. And she's like, well, what do you mean, like, I'm doing it? And he's like, no, my subconscious is going to attack you, because they're viewing so much change as a threat. And it's kind of like the same idea, where like when you change so much, people in your life be like, wait, that's not you, though. That like you're not doing those things. Like, that's not how you used to do those things. And they kind of like are threatened by this like new version of you. Or say like you used to party a lot and you're going out and you're doing all these things, and then all of a sudden you got really into health and fitness. So you start going to the gym, you start losing weight and all this stuff. And people like kind of your older friends will kind of almost treat you a little bit like shit, to be like, why are you tracking your food, or why aren't you going out as much? And it's like the system itself attacks like the new thing. And we see it over and over with different situations and scenarios. It was the same thing, like, say like when I was traveling, you have a lot of people to be like, oh, why would you do that? It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, all these things. And so just get some water here. So I'm thinking, why is it such a threat to be different, to be like a weirdo, to be like anchored in your own alien? And and why do we fight this so much? And I think it has to do with like, we're in a society, and we have societal norms, and we have things that we are supposed to be doing. And when someone is not doing them or is doing something different, it's never about that person. It starts to kind of question. It comes back to the person having the judgment. So then they have to start asking themselves, well, could I do that? Or do I want to do that? Or do I want to keep doing the thing that I was doing? And that can be really problematic for people that don't want to look at themselves, or hasn't looked at themselves, or hasn't experienced that, or they feel that and they don't know what it is. And then they feel really triggered, and then they take it out on you. So I was just thinking to myself, why? God, like, that's just such a waste of energy that we all go through collectively, putting this like energy out to like norms, and of way things like should be or have been done, and then us fitting into those norms, and then just all the energy that we waste just trying to be like others, or like fit in. you know how stressful it was to fit in as a kid? Um, and maybe you're like, nah, like that wasn't me. And from what I remember, I had like an innate knowingness within myself pretty strongly that I was kind of proud about, but also I still had a level of that same thing of like, oh, I gotta put all this energy and effort to like not stand out. But because I had moved so much, I naturally stood out and I was the new kid. So then I started to just rock that and just be whoever I was. And then even in high school and stuff, I we couldn't afford the regular clothes from Hollister and Aeropostale and all those. If those ring a bell, then we're in the same decade. But yeah, I couldn't afford those. I didn't wear those, so I shopped at antique shops and was wearing like 1950s made dresses and coats and outfits because I couldn't afford the mall stuff. So I thrifted before thrifting was a thing and wore that stuff. And when you like commit to like being your weirdo self, or you commit to be like, yeah, I am not the mainstream, or I am not going to try to fit in, and I'm just going to do the things that I want to do, then that becomes the norm. It becomes like what people expect of you. And it's like you kind of don't you start not having that weight or energy projected at you because they're just expecting the weird thing from you. If that makes sense. So if you have been in this realm of doing the normal things and wearing the normal things and acting normal and talking about the normal things, and all of a sudden you get into some weird shit, like start embracing that and that will become the new normal. And so I had a friend of mine say, like, I was talking about my parasite cleanse that I was doing, and I was like, you want to hear something like really gross but like really exciting? And so I told her, I was like, oh, I'm doing a parasite cleanse, and she just goes, you're my weirdest friend. Like you were so weird. And I I really like took that as like such a big compliment because she expects the weird things from me. Like she expects me to be weird. And that is helpful because that is somewhat of my natural state. I'm into some weird topics, and I do uh, weird habits or different things that are not of like the mainstream type. And it relieves pressure for me to follow the norm. And so because I haven't followed the norm of trajectory of, okay, do this, do this, do this, then people are just like, yeah, I don't know what she's going to do. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do either. And so if we like all live this way, and again, I'm not doing this perfectly. I still waste energy trying to fit in, or or overthinking things like, oh, will this be too weird if I post this online? Like, will I be too much if I share all of my thoughts and all of me? And I've had this craving to like start a new page to just like throw shit out there that like I've wanted to do. And part of me is still like, ooh, that would be a little scary. You don't want to be too weird. And I'm like, I'm already there. Like I'm already there. So like why am I still worried about that? And like how much energy do we actually expend thinking about that and thinking about what others think and thinking about like, okay, if I do this and this, what will they think, or what is their opinion, or should I do, and we just like, oh, it's just such a waste of energy, right? It's such a waste of time too. Imagine not all the time and energy, all of that bottled up, it would like gain us another lifetime. So my challenge is for you to step through your own weird portal. How can you make this chapter of your life like the most you, the most weird, the most alien? What's like one aspect of your life where like, okay, I'm going to do like a morning routine that feels more like me and not like the main things where you're trying to have like this hyper like impressive routine of like, this is gonna make me look cool or accomplished or like productive. And maybe it's also how you show up online or how you're showing up in like other relationships. And I've recently changed this how I date actually. And I would kind of save all of my weird topics and weirdness of myself, ironically, from my dates. Like I didn't want to talk about like all of like my theories of like the galactic shit and the universe and all the stuff that I really am passionate talking about, and all the energies that I work with, and light language and dragons and fairies. And like, I didn't talk about any of that stuff. And I would wait like into the dates or into the relationship or not bring that aspect up. And so like, I wasn't really being fully myself, to be honest, because it was like half of me, like half of like just not as weird. I was dimming myself down because I needed to like be more normal. And I recently have shifted that into my dating scene, because, I am looking for a partner, and I'm looking for somebody that I would like to do life with. And I can't not be my full self with that person. Like, what even is that? Like, what? So why not start from the get-go? Like, even the same thing, if you're looking for new friends and you're not being your full self, or even with your coworkers, if you're not being your full self, then it's really not, it's a mismatch, because they are knowing like a version of you that you're trying to show. So then if that gets along, or if that works, and that's what they think that you are, and then you start being your authentic self or real self, then they're like, wait a minute, that's not who you are. Or then they get confused, and then it doesn't work. Then you spent like all this wasted time and energy creating this other version of yourself, and then they're thinking that's you, but it's not you. You know what I mean? So anyways, if you're looking for like new partnerships or new friendships, even a new job, like even with your coworkers, like I did this really well with my coworkers this time around, and friendships of just like, yeah, this is just what I'm into. This is my day to day. I wear fucking space buns to work. I had my like eyebrow piercing in. I'm a travel nurse right now. So like I go to like the hospital and the floors, and I am your nurse, but like this is who I am. I've got little top knot on my head. Like I'm not going to dress like my professional, or like, oh, this is what I think a nurse looks like, or this is what I think this looks like. Like you just dress how you want to dress how you want to show up, or just be you. And the same thing, whereas like, okay, when I was like dating someone older, I was like, I can't wear my space buns and like talk about this stuff. I have to be like sophisticated, and and I'm an adult. Like I'm gonna go out to a nice dinner. I mean, obviously, I like to dress for occasions, but it was the same thing. Like, no, like that's me. That's how I like to dress. That's how I like to look, and these are the things I like to talk about. So like, I'm just gonna make them a normal thing. And it was really refreshing so far to actually have that in action, because I was like, wow, this is actually way easier and more fun. And even if they're not really interested in it, you'll figure out like, okay, these aren't my people. Or second, you'll be like, wow, they don't really know a lot about this stuff, or a lot about the things that I'm into. Because maybe for you, it's like some other topic. Maybe it's like, I don't know, video games or sports or something else. But like, even if they're not interested, you'll find people that like want to hear your opinion of it, or your perspective of it, or they understand, but like you're sharing more to them. So they're like intrigued. So either you'll find out that they're not your people quicker, or you'll find out like they are your people, or you'll find out like, oh, they're like opened up to this whole new world that you get to show them. So it just becomes way less of an effort of it, like a wasted energy, trying to like fit ourselves into these boxes and who we think we should be. And I think this comes down to even like roles that we play in like relationships, or I'm a mom, or I do this for work, or I have to show up this way if I exist like this. And it's just really not true. We have so much flexibility, and we can be so much at the same time. And just because you're this type of thing or in this role doesn't mean you have to be this way. And so and we get to show up however we want to. So step into your weird portal, however that means to you. If that's like talking about things more with people, showing them your art or creations, just dressing how you want to, or I don't know, whatever comes up to your mind, like whatever it feels like it's being forced. Like maybe you're dressing all black or in like this cool tan monotone and you really like color. Start dressing in color then, like if you want to be like a skater emo and you're just all dark and twisty and but you actually really like sparkles, add sparkles in too. Like so these are just kind of like fun examples, but whatever pops up in your life, you'll resonate. It'll come to you, whatever that is for you. So, how can you step further into that weirdness with yourself and really embrace that inner alien of yours? So excited to see what this pops up for you, and I hope you have wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode.